Crab Game, a game made in 2 weeks by Dani on YouTube, has somehow stayed so relevant, consistently staying in the top 50 of Steam's top games. Now, how is this possible? Maybe the game's free-to-play nature and being easy to run on low-end PCs is the reason why, or maybe because of the actual Netflix show Squid Games. Now, let's get into it. Now, Crab Game was created by Dani, a creator with a whopping 3.5 million subscribers, and I happened to recently be checking Steam charts, a chart basically for the most popular games on Steam, if you didn't know what that was, and saw that it was actually very high up still on the list, even after like 4 years since its release. Now, the reasons I believe this could be is maybe, you know, the Netflix show. Now, the actual show that he based the game off is already so popular. I mean, you guys obviously already know what the game is, or the show is called, so I'm not going to get into that. But that's the reason. That's the reason why he made the game anyway. He even added a crab mini-boss game mode into the game so he wouldn't get sued by Netflix. But parody games like this to Squid Games do very well, often as well. And I mean, just take a look at Roblox, for example. We have hundreds of different Squid Game rip-offs on there. They do really well, but they have a ton of microtransactions in some of them. But enough about the show, let's get into the actual graphics and gameplay of Crab Game. Now, the game's graphics are kind of similar to all of his other games, like Karlson, another game, but maybe I'll get into that a bit more in another video, I don't know. It's one of the most wishlisted games on Steam as well, which obviously, yeah, is a topic for another video. But the similarities in-game are, well, for the most part, are the same. Stickman character, or Bean, as he likes to call them. And the actual gameplay is quite simple, and you can see why most people still play it. It seems like a pretty fun game to mess around with, especially with your friends. Plus, looking at the game's Steam page as well. I'm sorry, but if you can't run this game, like, you must have some sort of ancient PC, because realistically this game should run on any PC. And, you know, obviously not everybody has NASA PCs, and I feel this exact way about 4 years ago when I got my first PC. It had the GT 710 in it. Gosh, that GPU just, God, that gives me nightmares. But, but yeah, that's probably a good reason a lot of people still play it, is because it's one of the games, or one of the only games that can run still on their devices. I just heard that just recently I just heard that there's actually an active modding community on the game as well, which I never knew about, so maybe I might try this out actually at some point, because I played the normal game, but I haven't tried mods before, so maybe that's another thing for me to try out. But it's also another reason why the game could be doing quite well. If people are playing modded, you know, some games anyway, like say take Black Ops 3 for example, modding on that game just became commonplace now. So, you know, it can keep the game quite relevant for quite a while. Now, the game's maps and game modes and movement is pretty smooth. It's probably the word for it anyway, because you can slide around the map and gain momentum quite quickly, making moving feel quite nice. And the maps and game modes, especially the game modes, are pretty much just Squid Games, but with a more arcade type-ish feel, I guess. More scuffed feel is what I like to call it, because it's quite scuffed. And obviously Dani has his own jokes in there as well, especially with the woman for the red light, green light being his face, which I find quite stupid, but it's quite goofy at the same time. And also previously mentioned crab boss fight as an actual game mode that can happen. I believe, though, that with all of this in the game, and even a Steam Marketplace feature for the game, that it will not potentially ever die, really. Because if we look at the chart for the game, we see when the game first came out, it did really well. I mean, like, just look at YouTube. Most of the videos are from, like, 3 years ago, and, you know, when the game properly first came out. But then when Dani stopped uploading, you would expect the game to just straight up die, right? Like, if he just stopped uploading, maybe you'd have the odd few players, or, like, 10 players. But no. It still stayed from around 1 to 5k players for around a year, which is honestly pretty good for a game that had no updates for a whole year. But, you know, up until around 2023 when it boomed again, and then back again in 2024, probably because of Squid Game Season 2 arrival, and, you know, it's still consistently getting around 30k players a day, almost a year after, you know, Squid Game's Season 2. But the thing is when you actually log on, you cannot find any players on the game at all. It's like a wasteland, and the only servers I saw online was like a few open sessions and a lot of botted ones, or at least ones that are just being spam created with random ass names telling, like, I think the one I saw recently is basically someone getting Dani to just update the game, which I find wild because he's probably not going to be looking at the lobbies, is I feel like everybody just uses private servers. I mean, even when I played the game on stream, I used to use private servers. When I used to live stream it, I would just use a private server with a random name and, you know, hide the code, but put it on the Twitch chat so everybody can see it. And, you know, I believe it's either, you know, the modded community is the main player base, which wouldn't surprise me, as you can get quite bored from the game after a few hours of playing it, or there's just loads of friendship groups that enjoy playing this game, which that's probably not gonna be the reason why. Or maybe just a lot of streamers, but with the current Twitch viewership of that game, I don't think that's the case. It's probably most likely just going to be the modded community kind of carrying its back at the moment. Or the people, who knows, maybe just waiting for Dani to update the game or even upload another YouTube video. But obviously that's another topic for another video as well. I mean, it's really difficult to even figure out a proper reason as to why it's still popular. Like, the obvious answers we've already went through, and like, it doesn't make sense because it could be a whole multitude of these you know, things that could be the reason. I mean, it's probably, in my honest opinion, it's probably going to be because obviously Squid Game, the whole relevation to Squid Games, and, you know, a big YouTuber, and especially still a popular one, to be fair, even though he hasn't uploaded in a while. I think it's going to be a bit of a multitude of them two things. But yeah, if you guys thought the video was good, make sure to give it a like. Comment down below what you guys think about crab game, I guess. I mean, even though it isn't, well, it's still played a lot. I can't really say anything about the fact that not many people play it. There's fucking 30k. Yeah, I'm just yapping now. But yeah, just make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Have a great rest of your day. And yeah, peace.